What is going? Shit. Okay. Okay. We in the building. What's up, South Carolina, Charleston. Say peace.
Peace.
Brother Ed, Brother Ed.
Peace.
Brother Eddie, Brother Danny. I say Brother Ed, then Ed. Man. So y'all, we finna get it in. You got my battery pack, right? Let me turn the camera around, let y'all see it. So like I say, y'all, man, this is important, y'all. Y'all see the view, man. This is important, y'all. I like, we take stuff like this for granted, but at these times, y'all, this is important. This is important, y'all. So if you look down that runway right there, straight ahead, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. I don't know how to. You can't zoom in? There we go. If you look down there, that's where a lot of slaves came in at. You know, you can't have no speaker, man. Again, y'all, that's where they came in at. Check it out. But we gonna go over there. We finna go in the museum for it get real. Let's read the sign right here. It says International African Museum. Sits formal site, Grand Wharf, a place unique United States history for a significant and distinctive role that played as a point of for enslaved Africans. Now I don't know, how they say the strength, the reason why they're saying right there. Right, how y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Right.
I think the front too. Yeah, I think it's where that sign is.
So you can read it, you can take a screenshot of it. And I like how I got 18, you see it don't have the 1600s on there, it got 1800s, which is very important. Don't let them control time. Time need to be understood. So, speak to the family, man. We're walking up this is actually a nice setup. Actually a nice little setup, y'all. Nice setup, man.
Give me hold the camera, my lord, while I'm filming y'all.
Yeah, when we get in, I'm finna give it to you. And I'm gonna go live on TikTok. This the view, y'all. This the view. Got the little mounds right there. Like I say, man, it's a nice little setup if you coming up to it. Again, this is the International African American Museum in Charleston, Carolina. Charleston, South Carolina. So.
Grand Rising.
Yes.
Give him a couple flyers, baby. All right, brothers.
All right now.
Places like this is going to be more than a monument to us. It's going to, you know what I'm saying? Yes, one love, Kings. Yup, you too, King.
all you have to do is pass this over here. Once you go to the second floor, there's a big kiosk that's going to have to take the buyer's council there. Just some things, whenever you get your pass, we're going to let you know it's a hall-day pass, so you can come in and out as you please, just as long as you pass your security, let you come back in. You can take photos of the museum just for flash. And there's a cafe upstairs, you can eat and drink whatever is in the cafe. Just You're welcome. You're welcome.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising.
Right to this young lady, please, ma'am. Come on through for me, please, sir. Right there to that young lady. Come on through for me, please, sir. Right here to this young man. Come on through for me, please, sir. Everything out of your pockets and on your purse and on the tray for me, please, gentlemen.
Did you stay on the red line for me?
All right, hold your arms out like a plane. Thank you so much. Lift your hat for me, please, sir. Turn away from me, please, sir. Hold your arms out once more. Thank you so much. Collect your items.
Hey, can I throw this away, big boy?
Have a great rest of the day. Thank you, sir. Lift your hat up for me, please, sir. Turn away from me, please, sir. Yes, sir. Hold your arms out once more. Thank you, sir. Collect your items from the table. Embrace your experience. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you, sir. Turn away from me, please, and do the same. Thank you, sir. Collect your items from the table. Embrace your experience. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you guys so much for complying with us. Embrace your experience.
All right, now you guys. We want to places like this for us. They're not just going to be places where we memorialize our people. This is something that you're going to own for your generation. So think about that. Thank you, Ken. All right, we about to come into this place, show my bag. I was just trying to get myself together coming up them steps. A nice little place. This is the museum. How you doing? How you doing? Okay, okay. King and Queen there, they got the... All right. Time culture shirt. It's pretty cool. Military? Military?
Military? That's all of your goods and everything?
Yep.
And are you seeing it as well, ma'am?
I thought we would have discounts going into these museums. Every little bit, huh? EBT? Oh. Do you have the EBT app?
Oh, that's cool. That was in the gift shop. That's why I asked.
Yes.
Did you receive it? Yes.
No, it's two. That's a two.
You did. You took it out your wallet, man. You don't ever bring it, man.
Why would I have it?
You are together?
Yeah, we are together.
And use the code?
You like the volunteer form or email?
You pay, King, you paid for you and Queen, right?
Court. CORT 86 10.
UBT?
Because I'm going to go on yours. I'll just
Okay,
send you
I'm
mine.
just, King, you covered you and Queen, right? I got me in. Or did you got, okay, okay. All right, that's it. This is cool. They got the I Am Boutique. Look, the I Am Boutique. You didn't catch that, did you? No, you
I
didn't.
know.
You didn't,
I
you
did
didn't catch
catch
it.
that.
No, you
That's
didn't.
why I came in here with my glasses already on
Look,
record. Because
I
it,
am
I
coaching.
know. And when you go back over here, you can't see the A. Go back there. Go back there. You can't see the A. So it just says I am couture. It says I am couture. That joint is buzzing.
Yeah,
Right there.
busting.
That's why I turned on my videos.
Those are met.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Seeking another story to run there.
Oh, we can get on the boat. There's a boat. Capoeira. You seen that? It was kind of form of dancing. That's what capoeira was, but they actually made it into a kind of fighting style. But capoeira was actually originated in just a form of dancing. Oh, shoot.
They identify us by our crafts, our skilled labor, and who own us. Even those of us free from bondage, we had to wear a free man's tag. For protection against slave catchers roaming the countryside.
Dreams. The elders said, dreams help us to remember our ancestors, those who came here from Africa. We come from the Fulani, Ashanti, Hausa, Yoruba.
Get to where we came from.
This is here, down here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, South Carolina. I said North Carolina, y'all. mapping a Gullah Geechee story. Now, this is what I know about my Gullah Geechee family. We've just started getting narratives that some Gullah Geechee is saying that they're not from Africa. It's somehow they are trying to discontinue their connections to the African culture and our African heritage. It's like trying to turn your skin. You cannot do that. That will not happen. There will always be a profound connection of Gullah Geechee tradition connected to African condition. That's for sure. Here's some of the artifacts that's contained in here. Whoa. This is a very interesting room here, buddy. Whoa. Jaw Defender? Whoa, look at this, y'all. This is obviously this is one of the royal garments. Yeah. Would that be one of the royal garments that one of the kings would wear?
Nah, this is more American.
Huh?
It's kind of, you know how they have the slave tradition after they create. This more of a American thing. It's like with Mardi Gras.
Okay,
Yeah,
I understand.
they
Yes, sir.
using a tradition with breaking the hill.
Okay. This is a traditional ceremony that we just
But it's
made
crazy.
custom when we came over here.
But the suit is Jah Defender. So this is an Ethiopian suit. Yeah, the one that made it. Yeah. It's the one that he on Facebook or something.
No, he's on TikTok.
It's a brother on TikTok. He actually made this. He can make a few things.
It was when the festival was Mardi Gras.
Wow. Okay, that's nice. He got his displayed here at his Wow Museum, man. This is a nice museum, y'all.
So remember, y'all.
Oh,
Peace, y'all. So remember, we are here to focus on the East African slave trade. This is what we focus on, y'all. The East African slave trade. Because many times we have been taught about the transatlantic slave trade. But we must understand the transatlantic is what transportation. All slaves came from the transatlantic slave. Because that's the only route. So when you deal with what's going on, the East African slave trade needs to be talked about. And that's why we're here. That's what we plan to uncover. remember, y'all, when we talk about slavery, they always talk about the 1600s. But as you notice, the more museums you visit, you're going to always see this date. You're going to always start with the 1800s. But if you start slavery in the 1600s, you miss history. But they're always showing you events of what? The 1800s. So just pay attention to dates and how they slip that line there to make you believe the things you was told. So again, we see it again, slave ship. Slave ship in 1840. Not the 1600s. A slave ship in 1840, y'all. My bad, y'all. I do got the, no flash, y'all. No flash. 840. 1840. So sometimes y'all, when y'all, you know, arrival. Now again, this is the beginning of the museum. And where it starts, you know. Again, 1839. See these dates? Where 1600s at? See these dates, y'all. Huh? I got my Bible. So again, when we here to focus on the 1800s. Again, we're here to focus on the East African slave trade. So here's another one, Charleston carrier, 1805. You know, ancient and modern. You see that? 1861. Look, y'all. You know, this is stuff that when you go to these museums and the stuff we was told, it don't line up. You know, this is also writing about the slaves, Charleston carrier. You know, with the names of the, I guess the names, I don't know, but you know, let's see if we can find somebody was imported. Nah, somebody was imported. Cause they do got the writings on here, y'all. Yeah, they don't have no. We're looking to see if they got any names or something like. If we could find some kind of African name. Could we find the Angola Negroes? I see that one right there. Right there for sale. Y'all see Angola. Sugar and coffee. You see that sugar and coffee? Mm-hmm. Imperial gunpowder tea. I can't see the writing though, y'all.
Yeah, that's kind of hard.
It says most Africans became captive through warfare, while others were captured in raids. African traders were typically of competing societies for kingdoms. So you see, y'all, a lot was going on. All slaves is transatlantic. This don't let the transatlantic slave trade. Every slave trade is the transatlantic. When you're dealing with America. Now again, enslaved with the other places, they might not travel the Atlantic Ocean. You know, but the transatlantic slave trade is what? You know, It's all slavery. That's why they give you this big number. There's a lot of water. A lot of water. When they got it, very close. You know, it says right there. It could be like a big river. Huge river. So the way they got it, that goes right there. Ain't no doubt about it. This hook goes right here. So again, you're dealing with the slavery, Charleston. Again, you see these dates, y'all. You see the 1800s. You know, you see the 1800s, y'all. It's no, you can't run from that. You can't run that slavery did not take place in the 1600s.
Not just in America.
That's why the East African slave trade is so important. The East African slave trade is so important. So important. Now, artists have lost lives. It says in the 1600s, enslaved Africans, descent primarily arrived in Carolina, by 1700.
Please, if anybody is in the family, take snapshots, take some quick snaps of these, right? So we can have it for our records. We are recording this, but you know, it would be great snapshots of some of this information, for real. You know, this is pretty much unrefuted evidence. These things are already went through peer review. These are established historical events that we don't usually get told about. You know, and you see the dates are not the 16 and the 1400s, as they say.
You know, now again, when you deal with the when you deal with the Atlantic slave trade, this is something they always have what? They've been renaming us so we won't know where we come from. Names back then let you know where you was from. But this is why what? Slaveholders often rename captives and did not record their original names. This was a what? So now when someone tell you where you come from, all you can do is believe them. Because when your ancestors got here, they didn't have the names they had in Africa. This is important, y'all. This kind of stuff got us what? Fighting with people saying, when we say we from East Africa, no, y'all from West Africa. You know, and all this is division, y'all.
Take still pictures of it if you can. Okay, yeah. Yeah, like some of that, like this back end right here. Okay. Good, cool. Yeah, yeah. Cool.
See how they started, right? There's a reason why this is a narrative. You see this narrative? West Africa. You know, enslaved people from West Africa. You know, it's a reason why they say that. That means no East African was ever enslaved. That's what they saying. They didn't get East Africa. That's a lie. So what they really want to hide, we're not saying West Africans didn't have to go into slavery too, but why they never mention East? There's a reason why, and that's why we're here. We are here to uncover the East African slave trade, because most of these things gonna say West, and that's what. That's to hide the truth. You know, and this is why they changed the names. This is why they got rid of the names, because they was wanting to hide where they was taking people from.
Hey Eddie, take a snapshot of this one too. The expanding of American slavery. It's just.
Follow the king.
In your house and what happened in the trees. Just like you get a big old tree. But I don't want it in the mix
Wow.
5 stars down, and make benches on it. No, man, they not come on.
This is beautiful.
That already have a knowledge of black life. This fact is clear in advertisements for slaves.
Yeah, they always say that we're the minority.
Yeah.
You know, I've always said by the eye test it looked like we outnumbered a lot. But they always try to make it seem like we the minority a lot.
With West Africans historically grew rice in the swamps and alongside with because of the similarity in terrain here with the rice fields of West Africa. A lot of the same techniques were able to be used.
Woo, they did it. This is a really nice setup over here, man. Most people don't know where this is. Huh? I don't think so. I think this is it, my lord. We're on the top level. We're on the top level right now. See? We're on the top level. Yeah. No.
There's another floor. It's like,
Oh,
you can't
okay.
get the map.
No, The Gullah Geechee. The Gullah Gullah.
So, where we at? Where you? Now the world straight. Africa rules.
Really?
That's the Carolina Gold.
It's all on this floor.
Something back there.
All these are different floors.
You see the steps? You got the steps right there.
This is where we
So
came
we gotta
in.
go down. Yeah, we gotta probably go down. See this right here? You got them steps.
Yeah, but we gotta go to Atlantic World. Right now, where you see that? Right now, this is the African roots right here. African roots. Passage departure. Right here. think we go down right here. On the ground, you can walk through. Nice good.
That's it. Oh, American Journey. It says American Journey back there. This side through there. My Lord, it's the American experience.
Man, right there, y'all. So we have to go home. Go back these out.
Rights to vote. And that, of course, has the potential to damage the entire country, this political culture, and the faith that they have. And the military to control our destiny. My name is Herb Rainer, and I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. I'm a former marketing and public relations director at and I was given on a new role as a special project editor in Charleston City. I think on paper, yes, we are people, citizens, my great-grandfather Mike and Ben, putting that into practice, I think, has been somewhat difficult. Our grandfather, our great-grandfather, they did not have the rights that we had. They were under Jim Crow era law. They were under chattel slavery. They were able to move forward. We were able to overcome these. Now it's incumbent on this generation to look back and draw upon the strength and wisdom of our ancestors to ensure that the rights that they fought and died for and then passed on to us.
it doesn't matter if it's me or one other black people in the room, but if we look at each other, we get it.
Hey, yeah. Hey, Eddie, did you see this? Did you take a snapshot of this? It just said, it just caught my eye, the illegal transatlantic slave trade. I mean, that's one thing that most people don't understand. Everything that it was illegally done by humanitarian rights, you know. So there were a lot of things that people dropped the ball on. And that's another thing that we don't really look at. You know, we just thinking in our mind it happened, but it was illegally done to people that they didn't have no right. People didn't have no right to put you in slavery. People didn't have no right to put you in chains. People didn't have no right to take you off your land. These things were against all humanitarian rights that govern people naturally. Again, it was against the law what they did. And you know, we what Yaju is doing, it gives us a moment to stand on it right now and hold a lot of people accountable and responsible for a lot of the unjust things that happen to us and our people. That's a nice picture, man. Let me get a good snapshot of that, bro. I want to still picture that. You can send it to me. That's dope. I like that picture. Wow.
Once you get touch one of this, you can touch one of these and find your identity.
Really?
See where you come from.
No way.
How to genealogy. We got genealogy. You getting it?
Yes, sir. Genealogy tools.
Again, continue. Type in first name. See your name, man. Cordell Jones. City. Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge. I see. They're gonna give me now. Baton Rouge, United States, birth year. I was born in 1986. I want to look me up, 1986. And what do I do now? So I put in everything. Cordell Johnson, Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge Parish, Louisiana, 1986. So it says your ancestor records belong to a collection of similar documents. Martinez Baptist. So I just search. Alright, y'all, let's see. Cordell Johnson. I'm not Clarence. That's not me. What do I find? My name?
I think so. I think that's what you have to find and identify who you are and all the Cordell Johnsons of the world that y'all keep on trying to make it seem like Yaju's the only one in the world that has this name. That's that many. I told you there's a lot.
Nice, man. Male. Race. I should go down right there. Yeah, hold on. So that's what I'm saying. What they asking me?
Mm.
Events and relationships.
Yeah, obviously there's a whole bunch of people there. If it's not your events and what is linked to you, then obviously you're not that person.
But okay, I looked up. It says, "Oh, do I add my ancestor right here,
Mm-hmm.
or do I put my name right here?"
Yeah, add ancestors information. Yeah, put your people's.
Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back.
Damn, you got to know some of your people's information? Oh, that's gonna be a little.
They know we don't. We didn't ask them all these things.
Let's go back. Okay. Records, names, last name.
Yeah, that would be your name there.
12 for your ancestors and can lead.
So they don't. I'm not gonna type in my name.
Mm-mm.
I type in
Ancestors.
my ancestor's name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put James. Shit, that's my dad. James. How you spell Duval? I don't know how to spell my dad last name. I ain't got no address. You from Mississippi. Birth. Mississippi. Shit, my dad was adopted anyway, so and shit like that, man. You don't know, man. I ain't messing with it, y'all. I don't know. I ain't messing with it, man. I thought it was a little
What the
simpler
hell
than
is that? Oh.
Some kind of phone thing.
I guess I tell you, I thought it was a little simpler than that.
Please scan below for your speaking truth in history. Oh, okay.
They had something to set up in there where you kind of research, find history.
What's these little tablets set up joint for?
Okay, that's what this is. Kind of get you. All right, y'all, we back in the church of East Side. We haven't really seen too much. Nice piece of artwork right there, y'all. But like I said,
Yeah, take a picture of this, man. It says ego tripping.
it was just mighty funny how all African nations in military, the black people wanted to go help Ethiopia. Is there any other African country you want to go help fight? Other than Ethiopia? Is there any other country? Somebody talk. Black Star Line, Marcus Garvey. See, I don't think a lot of people overlook Marcus Garvey movement. You know, you got a Black Star Line, right? to get us back to East Africa. I think a lot of people overlook Marcus Garvey movement because we talk about it, but why was Marcus Garvey going back to East Africa? What was in East Africa? But now we have all these Garvey movements, but you never hear East Africa. You know, but you see Marcus Garvey, you see the Black Star Line again was to get us from America, so we could start our own economic freedom in Africa. And now what? 100 years later, we still in the same boat, ain't we?
Yes, sir.
We still in the same boat. So the real Pan-African movement was a movement to get us back to East Africa, to what? Reshape Africa. You know, a lot of people overlook that. And look when this was out. 1918. Y'all overlook Marcus Garvey. 1918. It wasn't no Nation of Islam. It wasn't no Mars Science Temple. It wasn't no Christian churches on every corner. It wasn't 1 million black pastors. You know, so this stuff, y'all, we pay attention to when you talk about Marcus Garvey movement. Marcus Garvey movement was very important. It was before we was infiltrated with a lot of these movements that's not doing us no good. Hey, did you find out about East Africa?
Oh, I thought this is where it was.
No.
I went back to the Tanzania just to see if I know.
You're gonna have to ask somebody. You're gonna have to ask somebody.
They're hiding it in
I
plain
want
sight.
to do they even talk about them going back to East Africa?
They got the scramble for Africa over here. But it doesn't talk about it.
Don't talk about it. Pictures of Ethiopians all over this place. They just don't say it.
Now, look at the Great Migration. Now, y'all, you can't hold us down that long. Why did the migration start in 1910? Of us leaving the South. You think it took us that long? You think it took us this long? If we was here since 1600s, it took us 300 years to leave the South? This is why we have no fight in us. It didn't take us that long, y'all, to start leaving. So 90% of black people was where? In the rural South. And then you had a great migration where we began to leave the South, which was in the 1900s, because a lot of us was just coming here in the 1800s. These are the facts that mess up history. And y'all, 100 years is a long time, man. I don't think y'all overlook. 100 years is a long time, especially for you to keep up with information. We better keep up with information. We got TV, computers, and phones. You know, so again, our migration, y'all, when we start packing up America, shit, 1910, when most people great grandmother was born. You see what I'm saying? Like you don't know nobody in your great grandmother time. You probably just know I know my great grandmother. That's it. You don't know your great uncle. You don't know your great cousin. You don't know none of them. You just know your great grandmother. You know, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing about most people. It's very few people that can go back to their great grandmother. You know, and let alone know what's really going on. What
Talking about the Pan-African Conference, all things of British Empire, United States, America,
Now, see this Abyssinia right here, y'all? If you didn't know, this Abyssinia is Ethiopia. You know, so why it's no longer called Abyssinia no more? You know, because that's when you get the connecting historical things. So you got a Pan-African Conference, you know, in 1900s, and you had the what? The British Empire, which is other nations. You had the United States of America, Abyssinia, liberal, and what is that?
Hayati.
Now, why are you putting Abyssinia here if slavery is so connected to West Africa?
I want to say that's Haiti, but they call it Hayati.
That's Haiti?
I think it's really bad.
Oh.
Hayati.
You see
That's
what I'm saying?
I thought.
So, liberal is what? That's in Africa, right?
Yeah, Libya.
Libya.
Well, Liberia. That's what I'm saying. It's
Where's
like
that? Where's that?
Liberia. It
Where's
has
that?
to. That's
I
Africa.
know, but what side? That's east?
No, that's
west?
west. Yeah, that's where I think Libya is in the west.
So, but why do you have Abyssinia if Abyssinia
West.
has nothing to do with what? With the slave trade. But East Africa has everything to do with the slave trade, because why would you have a Pan-African movement would consider what? Abyssinia. If it was all West Africa, you would have all West African names here. But the first name you get when you come from Africa is what? What we call today Ethiopia, but they called it Abyssinia. And when you do the Moors history, they trace their roots back to Abyssinia.
Did you see this? Let's talk about the World War I and II. It says hundreds of years. African soldiers fought for Germany.
Now, this is where they talk about the scramble for Africa. You know, now, King Leopold in 1885, they was just getting Africa. They was scrambling for Africa in 1885, but yet they was taking us in the 1600s, y'all. They just was scrambling in the 1885, y'all, to get Africa. They go your 1800s. And this is Central, y'all. This is not West. Why would he be in Central Africa? You know, to get people from the East to the West. Look at these people. Ugandans, Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia.
Chopping off hands just because. You know what France did in Congo, what the Italians did all over Africa is what would make what we gone through here in Africa like we've went on a vacation. Some of this stuff.
Oh, look.
Man,
Now look, the crazy thing about it. Only Liberia and Ethiopia remain independent. Now, remaining independent don't mean you are not colonized, because the colonizers can set up the one that's running the country. See, when you really do the history, the colonizers set up certain people. The last, after Haile Selassie, the man that was put in office, America helped him get in office. But that's a whole nother talk for a whole nother day. But again, this is how they try to, the only people that remained independent was Ethiopia and Liberia. But it tell you about what? If you go before, when they go over here, what that was we read? Right here.
Yeah.
The Pan-African Conference. Abyssinia and Liberal. Yeah, that's a hell of a connection, y'all. That goes to show you Ethiopia was involved in the slave trade. So,
It talks a little bit about the East African, but it doesn't.
where?
Like for World War I, World War II. He said to ask the woman in front, but he said that people are really not. I might go ask them.
It says the United States has the largest number of black soldiers in the war. Okay, European forced some 375 African soldiers to join military campaigns in the Middle East, North and East Africa. Where's West Africa?
What?
Where's West Africa, y'all?
What?
Why they have no campaign in West Africa? Because when you deal with the European nations, East Africa was their main place. And again, if you don't understand this, you're not gonna understand slavery. This is why we got people running around saying slavery didn't exist, because we don't know how to connect it. You know, but the campaigns were set up in the Middle East, North and East Africa, y'all. World War II. A lot of people don't know World War II was about East Africa. What European nation was gonna gain East Africa, not West? I don't know how more important these facts are, man, to really understand the slavery history. If you don't include East Africa when you talk slavery, you're gonna miss the whole picture. And that's why the picture is never clear. And there's a reason why African Americans want to help Ethiopia. The details are there. Our eyes not open.
Oh shoot, Purple Heart winner. That's a brother. That's a brother.
And when you deal with the Negroes, y'all, our features are more East. East Africa is important, y'all, when it comes to our freedom. The first Pan-African movement.
Look at them. They look like goddamn Ethiopians.
The first Pan-African movement was to go back to Ethiopia, not West Africa. There's a reason why, y'all.
Look like Ethiopians to me, don't it?
We've been getting further and further away from the truth. Let's come back. The star line is back, y'all. We gotta find out where they talk about the East Africa, man. That's what we're here for, y'all. We're here to discuss the East African slave trade, man. That's what we're here to discuss, nothing else. You know, we're not here to talk about slavery. We all know what happened in slavery. You know, we got a lot of misconstrued facts about slavery, but we're here to uncover
Need some water.
East African slave trade.
We got some water in the car.
Some water? Let me get some. We gotta get some. They got a cafe upstairs.
Yeah, go grab me a water. No, I thought the cafe was downstairs, wasn't it? Or is at the end of? Yeah, it's at the end down here. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Just keep on going around and you'll right into the cafe.
West Africa.
They don't want you to know it's from East.
Everywhere you go, West
Every 6 months. Well, the museum. They add different stuff every 6 months.
Hey, brother, we're going to talk about East African slave trade.
Yeah, we already went over there.
Yes, sir. I still got mine from yesterday.
All right, thanks, fam. Appreciate you. Gave it to my man yesterday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, fam. And he looked at it last night.
Excuse me. Hey, get water. Grab me one too.
Just the 2 waters for you?
Give me 2 more.
Well,
It'll be $6.
no, just these 2 will be fine.
Just the 2?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
That's spring water?
No, it's purified. It's purified water. Are these the same amount, by any chance?
As the water?
Yeah.
No, they're $4.
$4.
There you go.
Oh, can I have 2 more?
Eddie, they're purified. I'm not gonna drink it. Boy, you about a knucklehead, bro.
It's purified. I go to the spring.
No,
They don't have spring.
Let's see if they got spring water. Let's see if they got
They got spring. That'd be dope. I don't.
Be dope. Be dope.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are y'all?
Oh, that's awesome.
You know the difference between
I don't. I was going to ask.
So basically, one's a natural spring, and
Yeah.
one actually get filtered by the system.
Right.
And basically, one is filtered by nature. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
difference.
That's what I thought. Fine.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what it do. If you drink purified water, it makes your system acidic. That's when your body creates cancers, diseases.
Right.
So
Okay.
it just goes in and go right out.
Yeah.
Spring water allows you to absorb.
Okay. Good to know.
See? There it is.
Lord,
Actually, I'll keep it.
Just got
I forgot I paid
you paid for it, bro. You paid for it, bro. It'll just go in and go out. Just try to drink a little bit of it because you're thirsty, my dude. Just to wet the whistle. That's it. You can throw a lime in here to make it, a salt pack, something. You know what I'm saying? So you don't got to throw it all away. It's just, oh, they're over here, bro.
They in the praise house?
Huh?
They inside the praise house?
I want to see what y'all catch. Come on here and look at this.
Turn around.
Turn around. Oh, shit.
Look at that. See that? What that is on the edge right there.
Cross.
But what kind of cross? What kind of cross that is? You don't see what kind of cross it is? What kind of art that is? That's Ethiopian art. Now, what is the Ethiopian sword? But that's like, that's not a regular, that's not an Ethiopian cross here.
Mm-hmm.
You look at all the ancient, it's got that little curve on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it goes like this.
If you look at the Ethiopian cross.
That's true. Yes. And this right here.
They should have restored those a little bit better. Maybe it was too degraded. They couldn't restore it.
I thought Mom was going to ask somebody.
She did. I think she did. We've asked one of the people too. They said it would be over here in this area. Did you read anything about this delegate? Like, no? Let me scan it real quick, just in case we miss something.
We were able to retain our cultural ways due to the isolation on the islands and coastal areas here. Many of the plantations have
Present day, Sierra Leone, Liberia can take away your connection from Africa. Can't do that.
a part of a community that has thrived.
Entrepreneurship. Oh, excuse me, man. Come on. How you doing?
Once they look at your community, man, they know when G people are talking to their ancestral lands. My great grandmother used to say, if you own a piece of land, you'll never be home there. Even if we do not have a house on that land, if you could picture
The earliest complete description that was in was titled Rice Farming.
I don't even know one myself. The experience is all you know. Yeah.
How you doing, Sierra? Yeah, they covered it up, man. They covered it all up. If they do have it out here, they're not displaying it this month. Like the dude said, they exchange it every once in a while.
They change it up.
Yeah. So if they do, they don't make it, like you can see it all the time, obviously.
It's bull crap.
Yeah.
I make sure. I think somebody ever, because ain't nobody gonna come here and talk about it.
Right.
We're probably the only one right now.
Yep, we're probably the only ones. Everybody even read this stuff and just automatically assume it's all from West Indies or West Africa.
No, click, listen.
These fucking dates out.
Where in the International African Museum in South Carolina I can find these African slaves? Where in the International African American Museum I can find these African slaves? If you can go on the website and look for it or something. This is it right here. Let me see. International African American Museum. You can go right here. Okay, Explore Museum. happy right here. The Atlantic world. Not to be right here. That's the only place.
And if they do mention it, I bet you it's on one little piece, one little wall, so they don't make a real big noise with it. What are you doing, bro? Next time you try to hold my hand, I'm gonna judo flip your ass. Don't try to hold my hand. Don't try to hold my hand, bro.
Just like this.
Bro.
Now, hold up, y'all. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. For centuries, including the Victorian era, Queen who?
Victoria.
Of the 1800s into the 1900s, the concept of women traveling the world alone, the controversial examples were rare. The dangers, difficult of traveling. So I thought he would have said more, but it's more about traveling. But it's crazy how the Victorian era, that's the era of history, man. But this would have to Sierra Leone.
Almost look like Queen Latifah.
She does, right? Now, again, this is the Atlantic Ocean, y'all. So any slave that would come from Africa to the West had to go what? Through the transatlantic. It's impossible. There's no other way around it. So the transatlantic overview of the transatlantic slave trade is from 1501 to 1867. But again, they leave out East Africa. This is what we came here for. Nobody came from over here, but the world wars was about East Africa. Come on, y'all, we gotta do better. So we're gonna see if they
Nanny. I don't know, y'all forget about Queen Nanny.
Queen Nanny, who was that?
Well, she was a revolutionary that fought in the war. She fended off a lot of. Actually, we have a little clip I'll be playing on my live about Queen Nanny. This is about the Maroons over there. Sir, ma'am.
This is what the only way it would be at. So I'm gonna scan the wall.
Ooh, Queen Nanny had her own. Oh, she had her own money too. You know, they said she used to catch bullets and throw back at soldiers. This is how bad she was. She used to catch the bullets and throw it back at soldiers. No, the dates though, would though, if anybody, if they're not aware, they would just go with those dates.
Even those dates are conflicting with each other. You will find out they conflicting with each other too.
Only if they could tell the real story.
The guy right there with the head shoulders.
Did you?
His name is Louis Joyce. I had it in the car. He looked right at me and that's the thing.
You didn't say what's up, Lewis?
Now you know it's crazy about this picture. This is the same. It's the same picture that Queen Victoria had painted. You know, of that man that time. When Queen Victoria had him ball down, give him the Bible. That's that picture. That Jeff Rosen show. It's the same picture. But they say, look, if Cotton was in East Africa, right? The painting is one of the early expressions of an African in European art. The identity of his subject is still a mystery. His clothing and accessories, including leather gloves, a finely crafted sword, and gem-studded bag, convey his high station, his facial expression, and confidence.
So it's high up. He's high up.
Yeah,
But they don't tell you which leaders.
They make it look like she's
Yeah, they just reference them, but they don't reference their status and what they really are. It's like it's a mystery, you know.
You see, they made a distinction between her color and their color. So something is off there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Only if they could tell you the truth. Castro looked like a brother to me. You can tell he was royal status just the way he was wearing the thing. Look at it. Look at the hat he was wearing. No one can tell us these are just Western American type of styles. That we've had these type of hats for long generations, before the cowboys.
That's why they look
They would have had a color philosophy.
Boy, they're keeping that East African slave trade out of here for a purpose, don't they? They don't want to tell nothing about no East African slave trade.
I wanted to ask them if they seen anything about Tanzania.
don't say nothing about that. They did not want to tell you nothing about that. Dr. Walter Rodney, he used to go to Tanzania. He had a foundation set up in Tanzania. Dr. Walter Rodney, the one I told you about the revolution where they assassinated him in the 80s.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, like I said, he's like, God dang, bro. He was really pulling for you. He knew he had some personal journeys that he knew about his sacrifice. He knew it. He knew what was going to happen.
We ain't getting no East Africa, huh?
No East Africa. No East Africa. They're going to keep the East Africa down for as much as they can.
Also created 14th century manuscripts from the libraries at Timbuktu show adoption of Arabic scripts to express poetry, history, theology, law, and numerology. 15th century scholars of Timbuktu studied astronomy and knew about the rotation of the planets, details of the eclipse, and more. The Dogon of Mali had knowledge of astronomy dating back to 3200 BC, which included awareness that the star Sirius B
Hey,
around the largest star Sirius A every 50 years,
look up who
even though
these
it is
people are.
invisible to the naked eye.
You Congolese people. Look up them. Congolese.
Long before colonialism, Africans had a highly advanced understanding of medicine. Practices include the use of plants, medical procedures, and surgeries.
Congo is home for no.
The most long-lasting has been the traditional African methods of treating the complete physical, mental, and social well-being of a person.
Yeah, Congolese. They came from Congo. They're supposed to be the indigenous of Congo. Yeah, they got Bantu and all of that. Oyo.
There's something here, but it
They,
says it's
they, they have a different.
the Western empires of the West century in sub-Saharan Africa, but boasted extensive trade networks that reach East Africa coast and South Asia.
For many African nations,
So let's say, but they don't say we come from the Congo. They say we come from that.
Oh, this is. Oh, right here. Well, it touches. This is. I told you that one little thing that mentions East Africa. Like nothing happened in East Africa, but it shows. That's the only thing that says East Africa right there.
Now this Sudan.
Yeah.
Most woven outfits and tunics were inspired by created in groups of male orphan weavers. So can you look up this word? Come look up this word. Yeah. Polena weavers. Because you know the weavers were the people that dealt with cotton.
The Dogon of Mali honor deities and ancestors through rituals, sacrifices, and rites of passage.
You know what I'm saying? The 90 people. Looking up there. But that look like Ethiopian art right there. You know, Ethiopian art is with a cross. Now the black.
Fulani is considered Muslim. That's who they are. They have Muslim descent.
Like the circle dance that connects all things.
West Africa and northern parts of Central.
Regional religious practices are in
Like
place in
seacoast
addition
in
to other
Sudan,
beliefs
so it's connected to
like
Sudan.
Islam.
So how you connect to Sudan? Sudan is east.
It just says regions there. It won't really tell you exactly
See what I'm saying?
where. It's just,
They just don't want you to put your finger on the East Coast at all. They want you to stay out of there as much as they can. As soon as you start putting your nose on the East, it's all over.
In Burkina Faso, believers wear ornate masks and call upon its power during rituals to channel the divine, summon ancient wisdom, escort the departed, accompany initiates, reaffirm social values, and mark the natural cycles of existence. Adorning the human body is a celebrated art form. Textiles play a central role in festivities and ceremonies. The sophisticated designs allow weavers to put their skills on display.
This is the only thing that even mentioned East Africa.
That's my first time seeing this since I've been in here.
It's the only flag that even mentions it.
They can also identify family background, social status, spirituality, community, and marital status.
Look.
Can't even get over there. Yeah, they don't want to even get over there. They won't even let you touch it on the screen. Yep, they got it. Yep, like it don't exist.
Exemplify quality, artistry,
They want to keep you right there.
used in pre-colonial Africa. The head was particularly important because it symbolized knowledge, good judgment, and character. Blacksmiths have shaped African culture since at least 500 BC, forging spiritual objects, instruments, tools, and weapons that allowed for an extensive systemized agriculture, communal activities, and expansion of large urban centers. African architecture uses native and imported materials, often inspired by patterns found in nature. Rectangles within rectangles, rings within rings, for everything from building details to city layouts. There are more than 2,000 traditional or heart languages spoken in Africa. Most of them were not written until the modern era, resulting in rich oral and musical traditions that have been used to pass on stories and wisdom for generations. Unique scripts were also created. 14th century manuscripts from the libraries at Timbuktu show adoption of Arabic scripts to express poetry, history, theology, law, and numerology. 15th century scholars of Timbuktu studied astronomy, knew about the rotation
affects
of
the
the
importance
planets,
and the prevalence of the legacy amongst Islamic society. So they have Islamic in the East.
The Dogon of Mali had knowledge of astronomy dating back to 3200 BC, which included awareness that the star Sirius B completes a trip around the larger star Sirius A every 50 years, even though it is invisible to the naked eye.
You know, it's really misunderstood.
Long before colonialism, Africans had a highly advanced understanding of medicine. Practices include the use of plants, medical procedures, and surgeries.
Yeah, they don't want to mention no Issa down. They'll hint around East Africa, but they don't put you there at all.
Of treating the complete physical, mental, and social well-being.
Like they got the Yoruba clan and all that over here mentioning the spirituality that comes from that region, but don't really mention that they're from that region.
Our lasting influences can be seen in descendant practices throughout the diaspora.
We gotta go there market. Pino Faso? Everything we see, y'all, says West Africa, man. They gonna show you, y'all.
The circle is an important symbol. inspired by the rhythmic movement of the sun, the turn of the seasons, and the cycle of life. The interconnection between the living and the dead is a universal cosmos that makes no distinction between the sacred and the secular. Drawing on information from science, medicine, cosmology,
Now,
and
this right
metaphysics,
here, and that white,
diviners are ritual spiritualists who skillfully read signs that communicate the will of the divinities. Imani honor deities and ancestors through rituals, sacrifices, and rites of passage. At the culmination of the Dhamma, a funerary rite
Let's go.
a procession of the invisible dead escort the soul.
how much juice I got on that phone? I'm about to be dead.
47%. No.
We asked everybody we could.
Yeah, we asked everyone we could. I know we asked a few people. Unfortunately, so you know the importance of the East African artifacts and their story as well when it comes to all of
So
this.
yes, but this museum is specifically catered to South Carolina's influence in the transatlantic slave trade. So that's part of it. Most likely why we don't have any East African artifacts. There's ranges. There's a lot of museums. I'm not sure what museum caters to that.
But you see the problem with that though, and not to say like, I know we work here, but this is our people, this is our stuff, right? There's a problem when we tell the narrative that we only all of us come from West Africa, where this Atlantic slave trade only affected a small part of Africa. East Africans, this is where the royalty lived. This is where you have to know, this is why it's not discussed here.
Yeah, I would say, I personally, I didn't. Everyone does it.
Do you guys know anybody that knows everything about the exhibit that's here though? Or they're not here?
They're usually not here. They're on the start. But I'm linking contact with our
Oh, sweet.
So I can email them.
Did my brother give you a flyer already? Did you get a flyer? You didn't get a flyer? This is why we're doing what we're doing. There's a misinterpretation and a correction that we have to do on this is our stuff, girl. You should own this. You know what I'm saying, right? So we want to correct that moving forward. Okay, if we're going to tell the story about us, it has to be the whole story.
Yeah.
Especially when it tells you about your royal, right? That's important. So look that up. Well, we're a small group that is connecting royalty back to your God-given, say, sovereignty. If you go there, this is not something I'm selling you. If this is what you truly are, Queen, let me help you. Okay? Because there's no other nation that's going to recognize that. but I am the nation that will recognize your royalty and your authority. Okay, my name is Danny Small. I fought in the military. Okay, I led young men and women on the battlefield. I'm not proud of it. I have a great debt to pay to you. Okay, just inform yourself. I'm not here to sell it to you. We're here to reclaim this stuff. Okay, thank you, sis. I appreciate you.
No problem. Much love. Yeah, yes, sir. I always wonder who was singing that. So there's one over here called Basic Kitchen. You looked at like yesterday. Did you like that joint?
I did. I mean, it's all right.
I just want to show them a walkway where a lot of slaves came.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna walk all the way down. We ain't gonna walk right down. They got a market we gonna go to. What is Billy Geechee? He do hand weave bags.
Okay.
Like a market.
Okay.
So you see this walkway, y'all? We walking down right now. This is, you know, what they say the slaves walk down, y'all. What we walking on right now, man. But we are planting our feet right now. Well, they say the slaves came in. Again, you see they got the monument right here. Again, in South Carolina. Right on the coast. Right on the East Coast. Maryland, y'all. Right on the East Coast of Maryland.
Yeah. They memorialized us in stone, y'all. They don't care about crediting you. They just want to put you in stone and forget about you.
You're not dealing with your great grandmother. You're dealing with your great grandmother. Very few people know their great grandmother. You know, you don't know your great grandmother's sister. You don't know your great grandmother's cousin. You don't know none of that. You don't know your great grandmother. You know, you didn't know your great grandmother. What about your great?
Bodies used to lay right here in numbers, up in the hundreds, probably the thousands sometimes.
You know, so you deal with your great grandmother, you still dealing with 1800s. You got to go back like 4 great grandmothers. You still in the 1800s. So if our people came here in the 1800s, y'all, you got to understand you can't trace that history. How many people in the comments know they 4th great grandmother? Put me a 1 in the comments if you know your, and we crazy. We say grandmother. What about the grandfather? You know, what about the seed carrier? You know, so how many people can go back 4 greats to know your great grandmother and your great grandfather? That's the 1800s. That's 4 greats. That's 4 greats, y'all. You can't, you know, you got to understand history, man. You know, you go back 4 great grandmothers and grandfathers, and you in the 1800s. And wasn't nothing called America, wasn't nothing called Ethiopia. Shit, they probably wouldn't even call it Africa then. You know. So like I say, y'all. And Ladybug. You know, that's a CIA Ladybug. Fight too. You flew away when I said that. So I just want to show y'all the walkway, y'all. Where they say we walk with, man. A lot of us came through these waters right here, y'all, long ago. Long ago, y'all. Long ago. Yeah. This is what we got to Well, like I say, y'all, man, 1800 is very important. We overlook a lot. Everybody wasn't grown, Everybody didn't have a history book. Nobody that came here went to school. So they weren't teaching history books back then. We get taught history and we still don't know it. So what you think the people over here, they ain't know history. They ain't know nothing about no history. They ain't look at stuff like that. You could say more of an animal. If an animal get taken from Africa right now, an animal ain't gonna tell you, I came from Africa.
No bullshit.
Shit, he ain't worried about that. He worried about surviving. He worried about where he came from. So this stuff of where we came from, y'all, only validates us. Out for some more information on the East African slave trade to see if we can get in touch with somebody who knows, because like I said, we walked through, they showed us very few things of the East African slave trade. I'm talking about not even, might have been 1%, a half of 1%, so if we do find some more, we will be touching y'all, but we just gave y'all a tour of the International African Museum. And again, the reason why we came is because it says on their I wouldn't want to say website, or online, it says they validate East African slave trade. So, peace, thank you for watching. We out, y'all. Peace, peace.
Peace, peace.